All right. Hey, everybody. Oops, let me get my hair. Hey, guys. What's up? It's your girl, Nicole. Welcome back to my channel, Real Talk Recovery, where we talk about recovery from addiction, and I share my life with you. So, I don't know if you guys follow me over Instagram. It's at Nicole Pludre, and I have that personal Instagram, and then I have my Real Talk Recovery Instagram, and it is literally Real Talk Recovery, just like my channel. But over on my Nicole Pludre Instagram, I was talking about how I wanted to talk to you guys about what we were kind of talking about this morning, about step 10, checking our motives and getting rid of resentments, you know, making amends and moving forward in life. Because that's what we're all trying to do here. That's what we're all trying to do, is better our lives, right? And make better decisions and just become better people in general. You know, when we're out there in active addiction, we're not thinking, oh, I want to be a better person. We're thinking, I've got to get my drugs. I've got to get my drugs, right? So when we get sober, okay, sorry about that. My phone, my Wi-Fi just dropped. Okay. So when we get sober, we want to change our old behaviors, become better people if we were, you know, because most likely we were making bad choices when we were in active addiction, right? I know. Oh, okay. No. Oh, sorry, guys. Hey, let me know if the connection is okay. Okay? Let me know. All right, there we go. So anyways, we want to become better people. We want to stop making bad choices, or at least try to work on making better choices. So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about resentments and how to let go. How to let go for good. How to put them resentments to rest. Because Lord knows I have struggled with resentments in my life. Lord knows I have made mistakes, you guys. You know, I'm not perfect. I don't think anybody is. And so I want to talk to you guys about resentments and how dangerous they are in recovery. Okay? So that's what we're going to do tonight. Welcome to anybody that's new. I'm so glad to have you here. My name's Nicole. I'm an addict. My sobriety date is July 13th, 2015. And my drugs of choice were methamphetamines, IV, roxicodone, IV, cocaine, Xanax, anything basically that I could put inside my body. So, we're going to start out talking about resentments. Hey, Maria, I'm so glad you're here. I'm getting myself situated, and then we're going to start talking about resentments, and we're going to talk about how to work through them, how to let go of them, because resentments are what? Do you guys know what resentments are? Resentments are the #1 offender of alcoholics. You can open up to page 64, and it says at the bottom paragraph, resentments is the #1 offender. It destroys more alcoholics and addicts than anything else. From it stems all forms of spiritual disease, for we have not been only mentally and physically ill, we have been spiritually sick. When the spiritual malady is overcome, we straighten out mentally and physically. In dealing with resentments, we set them on paper. We listed people, institutions, or principles with whom we were angry. We asked ourselves, why were we angry? In most cases, it was found that our self-esteem, our pocketbooks, our ambitions, our personal relationships were hurt or threatened. So we were sore. We were burned up. On our grudge list, we set opposite each name our injuries. Was it our self-esteem, our security, our ambitions, our personal or sex relations, which had been interfered with? We were usually as definite as these examples. And then they set out some examples. I'm resentful at. I'm going to give you guys some examples of the resentments that I've done in my 4th step. And I'm going to share those with you guys. Okay? So, for me, I was resentful at Robert. I was with Robert for 6 years. And we dated from the time I was about 17. Oh gosh, till I was 20-something. And we broke up because he broke up with me because I was being unfaithful. But I had been really upset with him long before that. I had been struggling with resentment in my heart while we were dating. One night I came home, and for about 6 months, Robert had been talking to me about how if I just lost like 10 pounds, how perfect I would look. Girl, you're so beautiful. If you would just lose a little bit more weight, just a little bit more weight, you'd be perfect, right? And everything he said really affected me because he was my first true love, right? And so every time he would say that, it would just break my heart. Well, I started getting high on methamphetamine and cocaine. And I would stay up all night long, and I would go to his house to stay the night. Well, one night I'd been up on meth all night long, and I was laying on his bed on my stomach. And y'all, I was so skinny that my backbone was like sticking out, protruding, right? And then he said to me, if you just lose 10 more pounds, you'll be so perfect. And I never forgot that. That stuck with me for the rest of my life. We broke up like 2 years later, and I was so angry and hurtful, and I held that resentment. I held that insecurity in my heart because it hurt me so deep, because I was already so insecure about my weight. I was already so insecure about, my dad would always tell me when I was younger, you gotta get skinny, you gotta lose this weight because, men don't want fat wives, or, and my dad wasn't trying to be ugly, you guys. Like, my dad is the bomb. He's like one of my biggest supporters, but thank you, Maria, you're so sweet. He's one of my biggest supporters. But when I was younger, I was like really, really just like, I was very impressionable. So when he would say that, it would just really hurt me. It would hurt my heart. And so my weight has always been something that I've been really insecure about. And I share that vulnerability with you guys here. And I've been trying to be just vulnerable and open with what I struggle with. So when Robert commented that, it was just like another notch on the belt, just another hit to my soul about my weight, And so I held that resentment in. I never talked to him. And then I got sober, and I started working the 12 steps with my sponsor. Well, we finally got around to step 4, and in step 4, you make a list. And the first column is I'm resentful at. And that's when I made the list, and I talked to my sponsor about Robert. So I was resentful at Robert. And the cause was because I felt like he was judging me for my weight. He made me feel insecure about my weight, And it affected my self-esteem. It affected my sex relationship with him. It affected my security. It affected personal relationships. Like this hurt me to my core. And so I wrote all that down, and I wrote how it affected each part of my life, right? Hey, Joe. And I cried, and I talked to her about that. And I thought about it, and I thought about my part, right? I thought about my part in our relationship. I thought about how I hurt him because I was unfaithful in the relationship, and I tried to make my part and to make amends to him for my part. So I went to him after we finished my 4th step, because she had me call him, and I called him, and instead of bringing up the fact that he hurt me because he told me that I was overweight and that I need to lose weight, instead of throwing it back on him, I called him, and I told him, I said, I just want to call you and make amends for the way I was to you when we were younger and how I was unfaithful. And I want you to know that I'm so sorry if I hurt you. And is there anything I can do to make it better, to make it right? And you know what he said? He goes, Nicole, I have forgiven you a long time ago. We were just kids. I'm so proud of you for getting sober. And through me asking him to forgive me for how I treated him, I got free from that resentment that I had with him about my weight. And he ended up telling me, I'm sorry for anything I did to hurt you. And of course, I didn't say, well, you did hurt me. You would tell me I was overweight and you told me I needed to lose weight. I just let it go. But you know, through working that, through working my 4th step, through doing the 5th step, 6th step with my sponsor and going and making those amends, it changed my life. It lifted that chain. It was like I was pulling that ball and chain about Robert for 10 years. I would think about how no man was going to ever love me, how I was never going to be in a relationship because I wasn't going to be skinny or pretty enough. And I felt like that for many, many years. I felt like nobody would ever want me. But today I know that's not true. And today I know that my husband loves me. I know that I'm beautiful. I'm growing. I'm learning more about how I can be a more beautiful person in the inside. Because that's what I used to be so concerned about what all this looked like. You know, of course I want to look nice. I want to be healthy. But now today, I'm more concerned on what's on the inside. Because if I've got a black heart and I'm an evil bitch on the inside, then it's going to show on the outside. I don't want to be an evil bitch. I want people to know that they can come to me. I've got a soft spot, y'all. I'm a softie. And through working this program and making amends and looking at my own behavior, it has helped me so much, you guys, with my recovery. So, I want to read to you what the book says. Sorry, guys. I don't know what's going on. I've done some 4th steps before, like before this one, with other sponsors, like years ago when I tried to get sober a long time ago. And I wasn't thorough and I wasn't honest. I didn't share everything. I kept some of the things secret. And those secrets ate and ate and ate at me. And I ended up relapsing every time. So let me... When we were finished, we considered it carefully. The first thing apparent was that this world and its people were often quite wrong. To conclude that others were wrong was as far as most of us ever got. The usual outcome was that people continued to wrong us and we stayed sore. Sometimes it was remorse and then we were sore at ourselves. But the more we fought and tried to have our own way, the worse matters got. As in war, the victor only seemed to win. Our moments of triumph were short-lived. It is plain that a life which includes deep resentment leads only to futility and unhappiness. To the precise extent that we permit these, do we squander the hours that might have been worthwhile. But with the alcoholic, whose hope is the maintenance and growth of a spiritual experience, this business of resentment is infinitely grave. We found that it is fatal. For when harboring such feelings, we shut ourselves off from the sunlight of the Spirit. The insanity of alcohol returns and we drink again. And with us, to drink is to die. If we were to live, we had to be free of anger. The grouch and the brainstorm were not for us. They may be the dubious luxury of normal men, but for alcoholics and addicts, these things are poison. So, that's a lot in that paragraph, but that speaks to me on another level. Resentment will kill me. Resentment, I'm going to go out and get fucked up. I will drink and use because I will be unhappy and I will be miserable. That's what resentment does. It eats and eats and eats away at you. It talks about it right here that it's the business of resentment is infinitely grave. We found that it is fatal, and with us to drink is to die. The insanity of alcohol will return if we harbor resentment, if we're unhappy, if we're unkind, if we treat others poorly and we continue practicing that same behavior over and over and over again. You know, guys, if nothing changes, then nothing changes. You know, practicing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. Hey, we see you. Especially when you're hurting and harming others. Hey, Craig, Debbie. It's not a good look, and it's not good for us in recovery. So Debbie, and we see you, we're talking about resentments tonight. And we're talking about how resentment is deadly to an addict and an alcoholic. And how if we harbor deep resentments and we are unhappy, that resentments can kill us. Because what will happen is that unhappiness will eat away. And then what happens when we're restless, irritable, or discontent? What happens when we're unhappy? What happens when we're feeling insecure? What happens? Then we reach for substances to change the way we feel. Hey, Amanda. Oh, baby. Hey, Debbie. So, Debbie's husband. Let me see. I am so sorry on Instagram, and I will check my messages after I get off this live stream, and I'm writing you down right now on my prayer list, girl, because that is just tragic. So, Debbie, you need to be here then. Front and center. This is what we're going to talk about, okay? We're talking about resentments, okay? And we're going to talk about grief after that. So we're going to talk about how to deal with grief in recovery. So I'm so glad that you popped in, girl. Let's go ahead and get moving forward. And Debbie, the only thing I can tell you, baby, is that this is a moment for you, and this is sometimes this, and I hate to say this, don't take this the wrong way. Sometimes in life, people have to die for us to live. I've lost a lot of friends to the disease of addiction, and of course it was terrible. It's horrible. I am so sorry. But do you understand what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's just happens like that. Do you know what I'm saying? And they say this in meetings. They say, some people have to die for us to live. You know, and you're here with us, and you're making an effort, and that's what all that matters, girl. So that's what we're going to do, okay? That's what we're going to do. Because there's a purpose. There's a purpose for you to be here, and you just don't know it yet. So that's what we have to do. We have to find your purpose, and you have to zero in, and we have to grab you up, and we're going to help you, girl. We're going to love you until you can love yourself again, and you can stay here and be a family with all of us over here on my channel. And that's what this is all about. We're going to help you get to a place where you feel better, and you can know that, you know what, he passed, and you're gonna know what you're gonna do. You're not gonna let him pass in vain, girl. You're gonna get your life together. You're gonna get sober, and you're gonna get your recovery popping, and then you're gonna go around and you're gonna share his story, and you're gonna share so that way other people don't have to go out like he did. So that's what you're gonna do. Let's see what Nick's saying. I see you saying something. Nick says, resentment and grudges are like carrying a bag of rocks. Eventually it gets heavy and too much. Just put it down. Yes. Exactly. So that's what you're going to do, Debbie. You're going to use your children as motivation. And we're not going to let your husband's not going to be, this isn't going to be in vain. We're going to share his story to help other addicts and alcoholics recover from the disease of addiction. Because this is what it's about, you guys. The disease of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. You will die, okay? If you do not seek help and get recovery, you will die. There's only 3 places you'll go. Jails, institutions, or death. Oh my. All right? So I know a lot of people sometimes think, oh my gosh, Nicole, she's always so serious. Just because this is serious. This is serious, you guys. And I don't want to lose you. I don't want to lose you. All right? So let's get back on these resentments. Let's learn how to let go. You know? letting go of that hatred and those feelings in the inside. You guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. I might pop off real fast, but I get right back down and I simmer down and I get focused. Because I know if I sit in that for too long and I let that anger start building up and I start thinking about that person and it will literally drive me insane. And I'm not going to get drunk or high over somebody. I am not going to let somebody take me out like that. Hans walks in, but he had to have heroin in his system. They told him he had an appointment this Wednesday. Oh my God. This is the problem with the system, okay? This is the problem, Debbie. Hold on. Y'all do not leave. I've got to get something I want to read to you guys. Okay, here I come. Okay, we're going to put this lesson on hold for a second because Debbie came into the chat and I want to read something to you. So here we go. This article is called Understanding Why Addiction is a Disease. When your child is dying from cancer or another serious or terminal illness, people rally around you with support and comfort. You can freely talk about the disease, the course of treatment, and how you are dealing with it. There seems to be some unspoken rule, however, when that loved one is suffering from addiction. Unlike other diseases such as cancer, heart disease, or diabetes, there is shame that surrounds the disease of addiction. When my son was dying from opioid addiction, to me it felt like he had stage 4 cancer and only a miracle of God would save him from the terrible disease. I wanted to talk about it. I needed to talk about it. I did talk about it. I found not everyone was comfortable when I broke that unspoken rule that says you're not supposed to speak openly and candidly about addiction. When I spoke candidly about his disease and treatment options, I often got that awkward silence and a look of shock and disbelief that led quickly to a change in subject. I decided years ago that I was going to ignore that stigma and do what I could to make a change. I would simply pretend stigma didn't exist and speak freely about our circumstances. I must say there were many that listened caringly and empathetically, and for that I am grateful. But that dark cloud of shame still hovered over. I felt it, so I can only imagine what it must have felt like to my son. He expressed to me the guilt and shame he felt over a disease that he really had no more control over at the time than someone suffering from any other serious illness. He didn't decide one day that he wanted to be an addict. I have yet to speak to anyone suffering from addiction who says that is what they wanted. My son didn't want it. I listened to him cry on many occasions and voice that he just wanted to be normal, that he wanted to be the son, brother, uncle, and grandson that his family deserved. Yet he made a choice one day to take that first pill, and shortly after it was no longer a choice for him. His body required that pill to function. That cloud of shame, that unspoken rule, that stigma is often a hindrance for those trying to reach out for help and seek much needed treatment. That was the case for my son. Sadly, even a proven treatment for opioid addiction, such as buprenorphine, carries with it stigma. Medication-assisted treatment is the use of medications combined with counseling and behavioral therapy to treat substance use disorders. For someone struggling with opioid addiction, MAT relieves the withdrawal symptoms and psychological cravings that are experienced when the person makes this decision to stop taking or abusing opioids. According to the National Institute of Drug Abuse, MAT decreases opioid use, opioid-related deaths, criminal activity, and infectious diseases disease transmission. It increases social functioning and retention in treatment and improves outcomes in babies born to opioid-dependent pregnant women. Still, MAT is widely underused. According to the CDC, in 2017, there were 47,600 opioid-related overdose deaths in the United States. If MAT is proven to reduce overdose deaths, why aren't more people with opioid addiction treated with MAT? After a relapse following completion of a residential treatment program for opioid addiction, my son, desperate for help, enrolled in medication-assisted therapy. While in the program, he had friends and family tell him things such as, "You're just trading one drug for another, and you'll be on that the rest of your life." My son was discouraged from continuing a treatment that is proven to decrease the risk of overdose. This stigma can also hinder the availability of MAT. Due to the negative public opinion, doctors may be hesitant to complete the training required to prescribe MAT. Arkansas currently has a limited availability of MAT prescribers. According to the Drug Enforcement Agency, most recent report, Arkansas has fewer than 200 physicians certified to provide buprenorphine treatment for opioid use disorder, and many of these are not even prescribing buprenorphine. This limited availability was also a hindrance to my son continuing MAT. While he was participating in the MAT program, he moved away to a rural area of Arkansas that didn't have a MAT program. I believe the combination of the lack of availability and the stigma he was facing both contributed to my son stopping the treatment that was helping him. MAT is a viable treatment option for opioid use disorder that should be considered. Just as the patient with cancer or heart disease listens to all the options and makes an educated decision on which treatment to pursue without shame, the person suffering from opiate addiction should be able to make those same decisions without the hindrance of society-induced stigma or lack of availability of MAT providers. Hey James, my son ultimately lost his battle with addiction. In August 2018, he died of a fatal opioid overdose. For him, the disease was terminal, yet there was a proven treatment option. I'll never know what the outcome would have been had he continued the MAT program. That's one of those what ifs. I deny myself from contemplating too much. However, I do feel like it's a good reason to speak up and hopefully spark conversations that might keep someone else from having the same what if. Although I was determined to ignore the stigma, I still found myself at times into the fear and kept my mouth shut. Giving into the fear and keeping my mouth shut when I should have spoken up. I wish I would have fought more to explain the science and the effectiveness of MAT while he was here. I can't change that now, but I can change what I do today. Today I can speak up. It's time for all of us to speak up about the stigma of addiction and medication-assisted therapy. It's time for us to educate ourselves to the treatment options that can mean life to someone suffering from opioid addiction. Our voices and our advocacy could save a life. Today I say, break that unspoken rule. Speak up, because shame kills. Do what you can do to stop the stigma of addiction and medication-assisted treatment. So, the disease of addiction is a chronic illness. If we don't seek help, if we don't seek treatment, if we don't find a connection, we will die. It's a slow, drawn-out death. It's committing suicide over a long period of time. And the longer that the drugs keep changing and things go on, the more potent these drugs are getting. And the more dangerous it's getting, and the more chances you have of overdosing, okay, and dying. So let's get back to the focus of why I started my channel. When I got sober, I came out of treatment after 30 days, and I wanted to use. I wanted to get high. My son was in the state's custody, and I was scared out of my mind. And I went and I got put on Suboxone, but not without some misgiving. I was one of those people who was told it was trading one addiction for the other. I was one of those people who was told, you're not really sober if you're on medically assisted treatment. You know, I was one of those people who was judged and slandered and made fun of for the treatment option I was choosing for my chronic disease of addiction. Okay? Hey, Tasha. The shame surrounding addiction and medically assisted treatment is disgusting. I'm so glad that you didn't use Debbie. The disease of addiction, you guys, it doesn't care if you're rich. It doesn't care if you're poor. It doesn't care if you have kids. It does not care. The disease of addiction is deadly. And Debbie is here, you guys. She's in the comment section. If you're on this thread right now, I want you all to tell Debbie that that you love her and you're gonna pray for her, because Debbie is experiencing what this disease is capable of doing. Debbie's ex-husband passed away on the 13th from an overdose. And whenever someone comes into a stream or shares with me that they've lost somebody to this disease, it shakes the shit out of me. Because it really makes me realize that all this drama, all this chaos, all people trying to bicker back and forth with me on my channel and talk crazy, it don't even matter. It designed to fight the disease of addiction. Okay? I'm trying to do the right thing and stay sober. Okay? I'm fighting for my life over here. And if you want to fight for your life, you need to come over here too. And let's fight together. Okay? Hey, Tina. Yeah, I'm actually on a taper right now. I've went down from 12 milligrams to 10, and then I literally go back to the doctor in 2 weeks, and I'm going down another 2 milligrams. So we're tapering slowly, but I'm tapering. So, but it's taken me 3.5 years to get my recovery stabilized, to get myself in a spot where I feel like I can do it. Medically assisted treatment, Tasha, Suboxone, I've been on it for 3 years. And I try to make sure I share that with you guys at the beginning of all my live streams, because I always want you guys to know, you know, I am on medically assisted treatment, and it has changed my life. And I probably wouldn't be here sober today if I hadn't taken that step and gotten on medically assisted treatment. And so that's what we were talking about with Debbie's husband, you guys. I have some friends that are on Kratom, Tasha, and you know, the only thing I worry about with Kratom is that it's not FDA approved or regulated. So I worry about, like, I was in a live stream the other day. A lady has said that she was taking it or people were getting it and getting salmonella from it. But I support recovery, okay? And so if you have to be on a medication to help you stay sober, I support that. What I want you to do, though, is I don't just want you to go out and get on medication and just be on something. I want you to get into therapy, okay? I want you to get yourself in a program, get connected with some sober support, like we are here, right? That's what I want you to do. I want you to not just get sober, but I want you to start getting into recovery. And so taking away the drugs and the alcohol, that's getting sober. Okay? That's the first step. The recovery comes on second, and that comes on the inside. Because what we're doing is we're recovering something. We're getting something back that was once there and it went away for a while, right? Which is our sanity, right? And so I respect everybody's choice of what they choose, their route to recovery, right? I just want you to get on that route. Get on the route with me, girl. And then, so what I suggest is therapy, some kind of program. It doesn't have to be 12 steps. It can be Celebrate Recovery. It can be Smart Recovery. It can be Refuge Recovery. It can be You could do religion if that's your thing. There's all kinds of different programs that you can get involved. But the goal, the whole point of it is to get connected to a sober support system. All right, so right here, what we have at Real Talk Recovery is a sober support network. And I don't know if you guys know this, but I'm so excited. I'm so excited. If you go on to realtalkrecovery.com, you're going to see my website. And I think you're going to love it. So I literally cried, you guys. Michelle has been doing such a good job. And it's recovery without judgment, y'all. And so what we're doing here on my channel is we're building a support system. And you guys are all helping each other. We're all helping each other. It's not just about me. I'm just driving the bus, y'all. Y'all are in the back seat with me. I got all y'all back there, okay? And you guys are pushing me forward, right? I'm just leading the way, and we're making a change. We're helping people. It doesn't matter what form of recovery you use. No judgment here. I just want you to get connected. I want you to find a connection with your higher power, like I said, therapy, and some kind of recovery program. And the longer that we all work here together, we're working together, you guys. Y'all just wait and see, okay? Your girl is, I'm making moves. I'm making moves, okay, you guys? I've got big plans. And we're going to start working together, and we're going to have our own programs to work together. We're going to have worksheets. Y'all don't understand. I've got plans for us to do activities together that are going to help us grow in our recovery here on my channel. Okay? That you guys can do right there in your house with me, right? Oh, yes, ma'am. I do recommend recovery books. So let me show you what I got. I got this book by Russell Brand called Recovery, Freedom from Addiction. And this book is a 12-step book. And I also recommend this big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, the AA Big Book, or the Narcotics Anonymous book. They're both really good books, right? Let me think. I also recommend a morning meditation book. It is called The Thought of the Day. Let me look it up. It's by Hazelden. Let me see. Thought of the Day, AA. Thought of the Day is just what it's called. Thought for the Day Meditations. Hazelden Betty Ford. Okay? And then I also recommend the 24-hour a day. You want me to read one to you? Here we go, girl. Come on in. Now we're getting... This is what I'm talking about. Okay, we're going to learn together, okay, Tasha? Here we go. So, Thought of the Day Meditation. We're going to read it right now since you're here, okay? You can get you a book. You just go to online and Amazon and put in AA Thought of the Day. Okay, here we go. Monday, April 15th. Thought for the day. Terrible things could have happened to any of us. We never will know what might have happened to us when we were drunk. We usually thought, that couldn't happen to me. But any one of us could have killed somebody or have been killed if we were drunk enough. But fear of these things never kept us from drinking or using. Do I believe that in AA we have something more effective than fear? Meditation for the day. I must keep calm and unmoved in the vicissitudes of life. I must go back into the silence of communion with God to recover this calm when it is lost even for one moment. I will accomplish more by this calmness than by all the activities of a long day. At all costs, I will keep calm. I can solve nothing when I am agitated. I should keep away from the things that are upsetting emotionally. I should run on even keel and not get tipped over by emotional upsets. I should seek for the things that are calm and good and true and stick to those things. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may not argue.
Can I have a snack?
Hold on. I pray that I may not argue nor contend, but merely state calmly what I believe to be true. I pray that I may keep myself in the state of calmness that comes from faith in God's purpose for the world. Shh, no. Jason, I am literally dying right now. Do you hear this in this meditation? Do you guys hear that? Do you guys hear this?
Hear what?
Do you hear this? It says, I pray that I may not argue, nor contend, but merely state calmly what I believe to be true. Okay? I am seeking my higher power. I am staying calm, and I am sticking to what is good and true. And I love reading this, okay? So, that's the thought of the day by Hazelton, Betty Ford. And then there's a 24-hour a day. And then there's today's gift.
Can you give me a snack? Can you give me a snack?
Ooh, you just ate eggs. The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. That's a codependency book. Here, we'll read that. Okay. Oh, okay, here we go. So, then we have the Language of Letting Go. And you can go online, you guys. Here, I'll show you right now. Okay? You can go online and see this. Hazelton Betty Ford. Okay? You can go to this website right here. And it will pull you. You can look up all the meditations. And every morning, what I try to do is I try to read one of these meditations to start my day. Mm-hmm. Okay? And you know what? If you're pagan, Debbie, that's okay. Whatever your higher power is, that is specific to you. Okay? So whatever your belief is, girl, I respect that. Okay? And I want you to have a conscious contact with that higher power, whatever it may be. Okay, because that's what this is all about, is getting spiritually connected to a power greater than ourselves and being restored to sanity. Because when we were active addiction, we were insane in the membrane. Y'all hear me? We were out of our minds, because that's what addiction does. It pulls us so far away from reality that, you know, we're not good to anything. We can't do anything, right? But now that we're living sober, now we got to get connected. And when we get connected, then we can start being of service and giving back and helping others, right? But first we got to work on building ourselves. First we have to work on healing, right? And one of the first things that I learned in my recovery, you guys, oh, you got it, girl. One of the first things that I learned in my recovery, and it was a hard pill for me to swallow, no pun intended, okay? I have to find what works for me. Okay, not everybody is going to work the same way. Not everybody is going to recover the same way. And for the longest time, I felt like I had to fit into this little square box, right? And I had to do recovery just the same way that everybody did it at AA. Because, well, that's what I knew of. I hadn't been anywhere else. So I would look at all these people in AA, and I was jealous of them. I wanted what they had. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to feel good. I wanted to, you know, not be high. I wanted to be sober and free. Hey, Bobby. And I was thinking, how are these people doing it? I just couldn't understand it, right? And I went into treatment, like I said, and I came out, and I got on Suboxone. Hey, baby, go have Daddy get you a snack, okay?
Okay.
I got on Suboxone, and that was different than what people were doing, right? Oh, I'm good now, baby. That was different than what people were doing. And I had to find my own way. And I had to be okay and know in my heart of hearts that the decision I made to be on medically assisted treatment was the best decision for me. And now when I look back on the decision I made and I see how far I've come, and I see my son and he's back in my custody and we're growing and our lives are improving and my husband is happy, I know I made the right decision. But I had to mold and make a program. I had to take pieces that worked for me, right? I still ask how people do it. I wake up still a year later with severe anxiety and hard to sleep at night. You know what, Tasha? I understand how that feels to not sleep. So let me share something with you. When I first got sober, I had the worst insomnia. I would wake up, literally, I would fall asleep and then 30 minutes later I would wake up. So every morning I was up by like 5 a.m. because I just could not sleep at night. Every night when I would go to sleep, I would pray and I would ask God, you know, to relieve me, to give me peace, to help me to sleep, right? Well, you know how that goes. It's almost like God only gives me so much, right? He only puts on my shoulders what I can handle. And so I guess that I could handle this non-sleep. Well, I thought I was going to lose my mind. And that went on for a whole year. I did meditations. I would do yoga. I would go walking before I went to sleep. I would take melatonin. I would make sure I didn't drink caffeine after 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I mean, these are all things that, like, I tried to help. And what happened is, one day I finally just got to a point, ASMR. Now what I do is I listen to either rain, waves crashing, or a crackling fireplace. And I love it. But the more that I found peace of mind in my heart and inside, the easier my sleep got, you guys. And that's just real talk. The reason I was struggling sleeping is because I was constantly going over thoughts in my mind, right? The anxiety and the fear of the unknown was so great, I couldn't sleep. My son was in the custody of the state, and when I would try to go to bed at night, I would think about him. And it was dreadful. It was torture, right? And so the longer that went on, the harder it was for me to sleep. When I worked to a point where I got my son back, so it stayed sober for 6 months, and my son got to come home, some of that stress and anxiety was relieved, and I found peace, and my sleeping got a little bit better. But I'm being so honest with you, Tasha. I want you to look inside yourself, and I want you to think, what is going on? What anxiety? What thoughts? What is affecting me? Because I think you were talking earlier about your children. We need to find you peace, so that way you can rest easy at night. And if you're anything like me, you're not going to rest until you know your children are safe. So I think that's what we probably need to work on, is finding how we can make sure that your babies are safe, and then help you to find peace on the inside. And I know you're all probably going like, oh my God, Nicole, how are you peaceful on the inside? I'm serious, you guys. Like, all this stuff. Hey, Kelly, I'm doing good. All these things that I did during my active addiction, these bad behaviors, the sleeping around, lying, stealing, cheating, hurting others, those things weighed on my soul. Those things ate me up inside. So I was miserable. I had no peace, right? I've got peace today, and that's the only way I can explain it to you. Now, don't get me wrong, you guys. And I don't know where my ex-husband has them living now. Okay, so Tasha, that's exactly what's going on, girl. We have got to find you peace of mind. What's going to help you is if we can get you, we have to get you to where you can do your part. Okay, I know you can't go in there and kidnap them or anything, but we have to do our part to help you so you can have peace of mind. And I'm going to help you do that, okay? We're going to talk in the email, and I'll help you do whatever. I'll help you get whatever I can get going, so that way we can get you on track. Because, like what I said, it's hard when you've got kids and you don't know what's going on or where they're at. Girl, I was a wreck when my son was in the custody of the state. I was a wreck. I would beg God. I would say, peace be still, peace be still, peace be still. Every night I closed my eyes, you guys. It was torture, you know? But we have to find that peace within. And Tasha, don't you worry. Don't you worry, girl. I understand. I'm a worry wart too. We are going to get you going, girl. Okay, so let's read this, the language of letting go. Here we go. Communication. Power Part of owning our power is learning to communicate clearly, directly, and assertively. We don't have to beat around the bush in our conversations to control the reaction of others. Guilt-producing comments only produce guilt. We don't have to fix or take care of people with our words. We can't expect others to take care of us with their words. We can settle for being heard and accepted, and we can respectfully listen to what others have to say. Hinting at what we need doesn't work. Others can't read our mind, and they're likely to resent our indirectness. The best way to take responsibility for what we want is to ask for it directly, and we can insist on directness from others. If we need to say no to a particular request, we can. If someone is trying to control us through a conversation, we anger directly instead of making others guess at our feelings or having our feelings come out in other ways. Is part of responsible communication. If we don't know what we want to say, we can say that too. We can ask for information and use words to forge a closer connection, but we don't have to take people around the block with our conversations. Today, I will communicate clearly and directly in my conversations with others. I will strive to avoid manipulative, indirect, or guilt-producing statements. I can be tactful and gentle whenever possible, and I can be assertive if necessary. Ooh, I like that. I like that. Today, I will communicate clearly and directly, and I will avoid manipulating, guilt-producing, and indirect statements. Ooh, I like that a lot. And these are things that I read to help me, you guys. And if you want to, girls and guys, start keeping a journal. Start journaling how you're feeling during the day. It will really help. One of my girls, Annie, she just got a journal and she just started doing it. And I'm so excited for her because she inspires me so much, Annie does. She is so excited about changing her life, you guys. And it gets me excited. So, I know we've kind of strayed away from what we were talking about, which was resentments. But I think what happens is that sometimes it's good. What the heck? Okay, we get to talk to each other more. So, letting go of resentment, you guys, I'm going to tell you something right now. It's going to free you. It's going to free you. So, if you don't like somebody or you're having a fight with somebody, you guys, or you're not seeing eye to eye and you can't get past that, this is what I've learned. I don't torture myself, right? I'm not going to go back around that person, right? Okay, girl, everyone in all the rehabs I've ever been in, I am never able to keep focused on my thoughts, and I end up with Scrabble on a blank page. You know what, Tasha? Have you had a psychological evaluation? You need to go and make an appointment with your general practitioner or a psychiatrist or somebody and get them to refer you to get a psychological evaluation. Because a lot of the times us addicts are dual diagnosis, and a lot of the times we use and we drink to self-medicate and cope with an underlying issue like ADHD, ADD, depression, anxiety. These are all try to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol. So the best thing to do when you get sober is to get yourself a psychological evaluation, and then after you've been sober for 2 years, have another one. I don't have insurance, lost it with my kids, so I've been unstable to be treated with my mental health. So here's the thing, Tasha, whatever state that you live in, you should be able to get assistance for that, right? And that's the thing. I know, don't worry. I'll help you. I'll help you find the resources, because this is what I'm good at. This is what I'm here for, okay? I'm here to help nudge you in the right direction. So we need to get you signed up for some assistance then, girl. We need to get you some insurance, okay? And then you can start getting the help that you need. But see, that's the thing. When we first get sober and we're coming out of our active addiction, you guys, first of all, the last place I want to go, I'm writing your name down, Tasha. The last place I want to go whenever I'm coming off of an active addiction is the doctor, because I'm so afraid of what they're going to tell me. I'm so afraid that, well, I'll tell you what happened to me. After I got sober, I went to the doctor and I found out I had hepatitis C. And right then, one of my biggest fears was confirmed, that I had a disease that I couldn't get rid of right now, Now there's a cure and all that good stuff, so that's great, but it was scary. I didn't want to go to the doctor because I didn't want to hear what they were going to tell me. So I understand. And I will help you find resources in your state, Florida, and get you hooked up with some insurance or whatever the services are. Because in order for us to get you in line and get your kids, we got to get you fixed up. We got to get you healthy, girl. We got to get you going in the right direction. So that way you can be there for your children, right? And so there's no shame, all right? I totally get it. I was the same way, girl. My sponsor, shoot. She had to help me learn how to do a bank account, how to write checks, how to do all kinds of stuff, deposits. I didn't know how to do any of that stuff because when I was in my active addiction, I didn't have nothing, y'all, and I'm so grateful for my husband because he's so responsible. Like, we got our car payments and our insurances, and he has that all handled for us, but it was hard because I didn't know how to do any of that. And so I totally understand. But these are all things that, when you're first starting out, it's like you don't know where to start, So we need to get you some medical help and get you a psychological evaluation. So that way, girl, you might have some stuff that you don't know about. All right, love you, Jason. Yeah, everybody, thumbs me up, will ya? You might have, like some kind of anything, girl. Girl, you know what? At least you have your family to be with. At least you have your parents. Because, girl, when I got sober, my parents, they were living in New York. And you know why they lived in New York? Because they ran away from me. Because my crazy butt was so messed up on drugs. They were like, see ya, we can't handle this. And so they moved out of state, girl. But it's okay because now they're back to Arkansas. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but my mom, she comes over here to the live streams. And she'll come in here and live stream with us and all that stuff. Wow. Thank you, guys. I just want you guys to know, thank you for supporting me. It means so much to me. I'm just reading some of y'all's comments that y'all left on my video that I posted earlier. Yes, thank you, Tina. You're the bomb, girl. I really do appreciate all of you guys for coming in here and just sitting with me and talking about life and talking about recovery. You guys inspire me every single day to be a better person, and I just want you guys to know, like, today, this morning, I was just having a hard time, but I feel so much better now, and I'm refocused, and I know, listen, you guys, I want everyone in here to be out. I know that not everybody's going to like me. And if people want to make videos about me and all these kind of things, right? Yay, Tina! Okay, girl, I'll see you when you come back. I'm so glad you came. Like, seriously, so glad you came. I just want you guys to know, like, I am trying so hard to focus on helping others, doing the right thing, staying accountable, admitting when I'm wrong. And I've really, I am trying so hard to be just a good person. I don't want to go back into my old life. I don't want to, relapse or use drugs. Like, that's not my focus. And I don't want to be involved in negativity or drama or chaos or hurting anyone. Like, my goal here on my channel is to be of service to you guys and to help you get excited about recovery and to help you find support in recovery, right? Because, you know, hey girl, you know what? I don't have a P.O. box, but I actually went down to sign up for one, and I never, like, I got the worksheet and I never filled it out. But I will, girl, I'll give you my address if you want to mail stuff with me. I actually was just going to tell you guys that if any of you guys want to get a card from me, I have some cards that I was going to mail out. And if you would like to get a card, all you have to do is email me your address, and I'll send you a card in the mail, because I got all kinds of really cute cards. So if you guys would like to get some, oops, sorry about that, just email me and I will send you a card. Sorry, I don't know what's going on with my internet. So anyway, we are done, you guys, for the night. I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's live stream. If any of you guys are interested, I'm going to let you know. I'll link it in the comments of this video. I have a Patreon, and this Saturday is going to be our first Patreon meeting where we call each other and we do a live video chat meeting. So if you want to join that, the lowest tier is $5. So if any of you ladies want to join, I will link my Patreon over on my community tab and here in the comments. Hey Lou, I just got done. Yeah, I started a little bit early. I think I've been on for about an hour and 3 minutes. But I'll link that, and then I just want all of you to know that I do these meetings every single night. I usually come on at 8, but I got started early this morning because my husband's off work. So tomorrow night will be our regular scheduled time, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you guys have any recommendations of what you want to talk about tomorrow, if you'll just comment them down below. Anything you're struggling with, Tasha, if you'll just let me know, we will talk about it tomorrow. I am always up for suggestions. Oh, Lou, I'm sorry. I went walking today, Lou, and took you guys with me, but I don't think you were in there. But, so I did my nature walk video today, and I'll probably nature walk tomorrow too, you guys. So anyway, I love you guys. Thank you so much for all your support. I really do appreciate it. And we are back. We are back on track, and we are not going to go down. Here's the thing, you guys. You guys are helping me stay focused. We got to stay focused on love, positivity, help, and care for each other. But we also have to stay accountable with our recovery, right? So, you know, you guys are helping me stay accountable, and I really appreciate it, you guys. Hey, Debbie. Okay, so I'm going to jump off here, though. Debbie, message me on my Real Talk Recovery Instagram or my Nicole Pludre Instagram so I can talk to you, okay? You got it, girl. And I love you guys, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. Let's do a meditation tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. So, girls, if you guys want to come in tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, we will do a Thought for the Day meditation like we did this evening, okay? All right, guys. Love y'all.